El imperfecto. Bienvenidos. Previously in class, you learned about el pretérito, the past tense in Spanish used for one-time actions. And we stressed that it happened in the past with the ed. And we gave you some key words such as ayer, yesterday, el año pasado, last year, el mes pasado, el verano pasado, la Navidad pasada, la semana pasada, anteayer, specific points in the past. Today, el imperfecto is another past tense in Spanish that we're going to learn. And let's take a look at the word imperfecto. Take off the O and we have the word imperfect. Imperfect, meaning there is no perfect beginning and or ending to our action in the past. This is key. So we use the imperfecto to describe things in the past, describe actions in the past, ongoing actions. He would always come to school late. It happened more than once. Descriptions. He was a naughty boy. He was a naughty boy because he continuously did bad things. Not a one-time deal, but continuously, ongoing. If you're setting the scene to a story, whether it's your story or it's a written fairy tale, once upon a time, there were 3 bears. The fact that you can't see when there were 3 bears and when there were not 3 bears, it's a gray area. It's imperfect. So we use the imperfecto. Time, age, and feelings. Time never stands still. Look at an analog clock. The second hand is always moving. So we can't use the preterite. It has to be the imperfect because it's not a one-time deal, specific time in the past. Age, you're always getting older. You're 16 in one day, 16 in 1 month, 16 in 7 months, and so on. There's no stagnant time that you are just one age. Therefore, the imperfect is used. Feelings, you cannot pinpoint when you started feeling ill and when you started feeling better. It's a progressive thing. So therefore, it's in the gray area requiring the use of the imperfecto. Oftentimes in English we'll say was, and then we'll have the ing, that participle, or the gerund in the past. I was talking when you interrupted me. The was, talk, and then ing. When did I start talking? Can you picture it? Did I finish talking? Don't assume. Because just because you interrupted me, did I stop talking? I probably redirected and told you that you're interrupting me and then went back to the original topic. But did I ever stop talking? No. They used to do something in the past. I used to ice skate every Friday. I used to ride horses. Did it end? Maybe, maybe not. The gray area. You don't know. So how do we form the imperfect tense? Here's the good news. For AR verbs, all of them, no matter how they were in the present tense, no matter how they were in the preterite tense, an AR verb in the imperfect tense, all of them will form exactly the same. No irregularities, no special changes or anything. As always, when we conjugate the verb, we take off the infinitive ending. In this case, we're doing AR verbs, so you take off the AR. And depending on your subject, we'll have subject-verb agreement. You'll put in a form of aba, abas aba, abamos. Notice the accent mark so that we continue saying aba, and then we add the mos, abais, and aban. So let's take a look. At some point, we would like you to pause the video and have your charts down in these examples. If we take a look at yo caminaba a la escuela, what it is caminar. We take off the AR and put in aba, I used to walk to school. Tú nunca estudiabas. Estudiar is the infinitive. We take off the AR. Our stem is still estudi. We put in the abas to match the tú. So you used to never study. Nosotros visitamos a mi abuela cada verano. Visitar, take off your AR. Put in the habamos for nosotros. So we used to visit my grandmother every summer. Or we would visit. Los niños cantaban villancicos en diciembre. Cantar, take off your AR. You have your CANT. Aban because los niños is plural. They used to sing Christmas carols in December. Mi hija miraba el show Barney. So mirar, AR, put in aba because mi hija fits under the she, singular. Miraba el show Barney. Mi sobrino jugaba soccer, football. So my nephew used to play soccer. We take off the AR from jugar. We put in the aba. Now, jugar happens to be a stem-changing verb in the present tense. If this were in the present tense, my nephew plays soccer, it would be mi sobrino juega football. There is no stem change in the imperfect tense. If we're doing ER and IR verbs, as we have seen in the past, the more we've gone into Spanish, ER and IR, verbs tend to blend and share endings. This is the same case with the imperfecto. They share exactly everything. So we take off either the ER or the IR and we put in our IA form, or IAS, IA, IAMOS. Notice we have not taken off that accent mark. IAIS or IAN. Let's use some ER and IR verbs here. Ella aprendía mejor con música. Aprender is an ER verb. We took that off and we added the IA. So she used to learn best with music. Yo siempre comía un desayuno saludable. I used to always eat a healthy breakfast. Comer, take off the ER, throw in the IA. Mis padres bebían un cafecito después de cenar. So my parents used to drink a cup of coffee after dinner. It's an ER verb. My parents is plural, fits under they. Bebían. Tú escribías las respuestas en la mano. You would write the answers on your hand. Escribir is an IR verb. Uses the same as the ER endings. Nosotros dormíamos muy tarde. We used to sleep very late. It también is an IR verb. So we take off the IR and throw in the íamos. Again, pause as necessary to copy this into your notes. Oh boy. Some irregulars, but there are only 3. Ser, ir, and ver is always lumped into this as irregular, but if we take a closer look, it isn't totally irregular as the ser and the ir are. And ser and ir have always been completely irregular from the very beginning, so we are not surprised to see them appear here. Ser, era, eras, era, éramos, erais, eran, so I was, you were, he was, we were, y'all were, they were. Ir, to go, iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, iban. I used to go, I would go, you would go. Now ver, I have the little asterisk as well to remind us the fact that the rule is we drop the ER from the infinitive and then we would add our IA. In this case, if we drop the ER, we only have the V. And via is another word, means through. We have it in English too. So they kept the E and then added the regular endings for ER verbs. So in reality, is it completely irregular? Some minds would say no. Copy this down. Let's go take a look at some examples. Tú ibas a mi escuela. A mi iglesia, pero ya no. You used to go to my church, but not now. Cuando yo era niña, patinaba sobre hielo. So when I was a little girl, I ice skated. Ella veía mucha televisión. She used to watch a lot of television. Nosotros éramos aficionados de las corridas de toros. So we used to be fans of bullfights. I hope this has helped you understand el imperfecto. Remember, there's el pretérito, a specific time in the past. You can pinpoint it on a timeline. El imperfecto does not have that perfect beginning and or ending. It's kind of in that gray area, ongoing. It happened more than once. If you need to, replay this or ask your teacher for more clarification and help.